Linguists can study different aspects of the language in use, such as parts of the language, social and cognitive language, cultural sets of conventions, situational environment, the written texts, either in a verbal or written record. Thus, discourse analysis conveys its purpose in analyzing the effects on the society through rules, principles, contexts, cultures, functions, structures, political and sociocultural analysis. Therefore, there are 5 key factors to consider when talking to discourse analysis: interaction, context, function, instrumentalities, and text. Interaction is the key factor where discourse analysis takes place in every single written or spoken expression. It relies on entrances, intentions, topics, actions, reactions, negotiations, among many other parts of spoken or written expression. Actually, interaction is the process that is followed in order to make appropriate communication real. From the very little details to generalization, from slight differences to enormous meaningful interpretations of the two utterances in different fields such as physics, chemistry, sociology, or any other relations. Furthermore, it is important to establish that interaction depends deeply on the intentions, intonations, spontaneity, predisposition, and many other aspects that are worth to be analyzed. Mentioned by Wirusen 2000, people do not consume texts unthinkingly, but process them in normal pragmatic ways, inferring meanings. In the first picture, it can be seen that the young man is glad and surprised about the information that is provided. In the second picture, the woman is trying to reach the person as they are far from each other. In the third picture, the person is showing disinterest about the information. Finally, in the fourth picture, the boy is providing the same information but with a different reaction as the old man expressed displeasure. Thus, the process interaction will deeply depend on the intonation, context, people involved, among many other aspects to get meaning. This is a representation of a spoken language. It has to be considered the same within a written text in which punctuation and signs are tools to represent these intentions. Band practice my house 6 to 8. Thanks for the reminder. Hey, band practice my house 6 to 8. Thanks for the reminder. Hey, band practice my house 6 to 8. Thanks for the reminder. Hey, band practice my house 6 to 8. Thanks for the warning. A key factor which involves part of the process of interaction of discourse analysis. According to Himes, context forms part of the setting, which is the physical surrounding, and the scene, which refers to the happening in the oral or written text. Something important to say is that context activates prediction making. For example, the two words blood boil do not mean that blood is boiling physically, but possibly that there is a conflict or bad situation, culturally speaking. Thus, where, which is the setting, and scene, which is the circumstance, will depend to understand the utterance. Function takes place as long as context occurs. This means that the function of the discourse will depend deeply on what the oral or written texts are expressing. In few words, function implies to use patterns to express certain utterances. However, whenever taking context into account, it is important to understand what it is needed to be expressed. Thanks for everything. Thanks for everything. Thanks for everything. Okay, for example, the phrase thanks for everything, functionally speaking, refers to express gratitude about something done, but it can be used to express dissatisfaction or sarcasm. Instrumentalities have to be with genre, either for oral or written texts, which depend on intonation, gestures, faces, etc. In case of written texts, conventions such as punctuation, capital letters, small case letters, types of formats like official letters, publicity text, essays, poems, among many others, which are characterized by certain rules. Okay, so here in this picture, you can see writing genres which belong to description, exposition, journals and letters, narration, persuasion, and poetry. And some other examples are like journal writings, essays, letters, which could be formal, informal, or any other types. In terms of texts, it can be said that they are the objects of the discourse analysis, which depend on function, texture, information structure, cohesion, coherence, and the types of writing, either for formal or informal writings, as well as oral texts. Furthermore, these texts may represent different genre, contexts, functions, and interact into different situations or types of discourses. So there are many types of texts, but here I mentioned some, which are narrations, poetry, drama, recount, procedures, reports, explanations, expositions or argumentations, discussions, etc. And these are perfect representations of oral texts in a written way. And finally, it was my pleasure to present this information.